Hello and welcome to the third and potentially last part of Coffee Brewing Kit with me, Leo. This week, this episode, whichever it is, I don't know why you're watching it. But anyway, we are dealing with, dun dun dun, Meth Lab coffee. Okay, technically siphon filter. But when it's assembled, so it looks roughly like Meth Lab. Let's not kid ourselves. This is something that we saw in Japan when we first went 5.5 odd years ago, and as I'm sure my lovely wife will be able to tell you if you were to ask her, I believe I went something like, "Was that so cool? I need one." Or words to that effect. But yeah, it actually works on a fairly similar-ish process to a mocha pot, or to a degree sort of French press or an AeroPress. I'll talk a wee bit about those later. But yeah, this is something that I absolutely adore. However, it's a very time-intensive process. It's not I'll just quickly make myself a cuppa with this. Which is why I don't tend to use it that often. As a result, I will be using special coffee, dun dun dun, not good beans from Amsterdam, but rather the last of the geisha, which we picked up from Bogain's Coffee Roasters in Chiang Mai when we were there last time round. What's the deal with geisha, you may ask? Good question, glad you asked. Basically, it's the most expensive coffee in the world. Short version. Apparently there's a very rare Japanese coffee tree, plant type thing that was transported to Panama. It's just on this one tiny wee estate. They only make a very small amount. It's high up in the mountains, so they only have one harvest a year. It's supposed to be, quote, the best coffee, unquote. So every year when they have their batch, they have auctions to sell it off. This is a tiny wee 100-gram bag or something like that, and it was something ludicrous. I mean, it was easily 4 or more times the price of the regular 250-gram bags. It is very nice. Smells really nice as well. I'll pour some out so you can see, and you're kind of looking at it and going, it's just coffee. So that's the last of the geisha, because it is one of these things. I always think that I never wanted to just use this for just an afternoon cup of tea. I always think that it should always be for something nice. So bear with me. I know you can't smell it, but imagine you can, and I'm wafting the smell of it through in, and so, filters. This is the filter which came with the Harriot's cloth filter, which, as I mentioned in the previous one, is like the Chemex. So it's lovely, it's organic, it's environmentally friendly, it's a pig to clean. However, there is also a paper filter version, which is a 2-part, well, technically 3-part if you include the filter. So we have our filter, which my lovely wife is actually letting you see, because otherwise I'm just assuming, yeah, you can see this, but clearly not quite the case. So, ta-da! That's that in place. So, not use all of it, I will make a another batch. So in order to speed up this process, this is some freshly-ish boiled water from the kettle. And the reason for wanting to speed this up is this is why it's meth lab. The original kit itself comes with a paraffin burner, stay. Thank you. Reason that I'm tilting this in at an angle is that if you don't, then a seal actually forms, because obviously, as you can see, there's the rubber stopgap there to prevent the glass from just smacking off. But the seal, a sort of almost vacuum seal, forms, and it's an absolute pig to get it off. And yeah, this is mostly glass, and I'm very keen for something to not happen to it. So as you can see, this is starting to slowly heat up, or get closer and closer to boiling point. Once it actually does start to bubble, then I'll pop this in. As I was mentioning originally, this came with a wee paraffin burner, which I think's got disaster writ large all over it, because, well, you're talking about storing some paraffin in a glass thing with a wick in it. It can easily get knocked over, spill everywhere. Then I saw this wee mini Bunsen burner, for want of a better description. So yeah, sold. I mean, you know, a wee Bunsen burner just for your coffee. How could I refuse? How could I say no? There is an even cooler still beam heater, which Harry will make themselves. Oh, this is it starting to boil, so I'm just going to pop that in, and I'm not going to talk because you want to watch this. So just stir coffee to make sure that it's properly mixed. And now that it's started bubbling away, we'll pop the lid on, and then we'll turn that off. And it just takes a moment or three, and for me to knock something over. Oops. There we go. As you can see, slowly so, as we're waiting for the coffee to slowly filter down into the lower chamber, I did mention French presses and AeroPresses. French press, or cafetiere, the good old-fashioned glass box. Put your coffee in, pour the hot water in, mix it together, let it stand, and then fadoom. That's kind of how I thought coffee was made, because it's what my folks used. They didn't really have instant. I know, posh upbringing, hey-ho. But yeah, that's how I always sort of assumed coffee was made. And cafetieres are great and all, but they're a pig to clean, because you never get left just the grounds at the bottom. It's always this sort of sludge. We have one at work, and indeed there have been a couple of passive aggressive notes in the kitchen telling the medical staff not to just empty the ground sludge into the dishwasher, as otherwise it makes everything coffee and manky. So yeah, that kind of tells you all you need to know about that. AeroPress, which is kind of this combination of both a French press and indeed an espresso, is something that I used to cart around with me on holiday. But ever since we switched to more just carry-on, it's, even though it's only yay size, it's too bulky, it takes up too much space. And basically, again, you're pushing the coffee through a filter, but it's, like I say, it's more duplicating an espresso machine, because you're actually providing the pressure. Apparently, the pressure that you're providing is greater just by pushing the plunger down onto it through the cup. Is greater than most sort of commercially available espresso machines for your home. So if you want a really good espresso, buy one of them. I have it at work because it's fantastic, because it means I literally put the coffee in, add hot water, boom, and a minute later I've got a proper cup of coffee, which at work is a fantastic thing. The other fantastic thing with it is that literally once it's finished, you turn it upside down, let it dry out, and when it comes to cleaning, you just take the filter part off and go ba-dop, and out pops this condensed, dried out puck of coffee. So the cleanup is so much easier. Now, whilst this has all been happening, this is finally finished. So as you can see, we've got our coffee at the bottom. So I'm just gonna take this out. And as you can see, the cover also doubles as a stand, which is handy. And we now have our geisha coffee. Why am I pouring it into a glass? That's a very good question. I'm so glad you're asking yourself that. Geisha has been called the tea of coffees, and if you actually look at the colour of it, it really does look more like tea than a coffee. It's a very mild flavour. Don't get me wrong, I am so glad that we had the opportunity to get this. It smells amazing, it's got this really mild taste, and it's very much a, yep, I've done this, I've had it. It's a really nice cup of coffee. I can't deny that at all. But in terms of value for money, it's not that. It is so not that, for me at any rate. As I say, that wee 100 gram bag, I think worked out you would be able to get about 6 or so, maybe 7 cups of coffee from it, and it's something like, funnily enough, 6 or 7 quid per cup, and that's just the beans. And I'm sorry, for 6 or 7 quid I can buy a £0.5 bag of coffee. And I know which I'd rather do. I mean, like I say, I'm so glad I got the chance to try it, but I can't see me doing it ever again. Using the meth lab on a more regular basis, that's something I would like to do more. Anyway, so thank you for watching my incoherent rambling about coffee and what I use to make my coffee. And yeah, if you have any questions about coffee or anything else, then by all means do ask. Please subscribe, because we're working our way towards that magic 1,000. Woo! And there's also a Patreon or Patron or however the hell you pronounce it, in which you get to see exclusive recipes and videos once a week, and the work which Ivy does on those is fantastic. There's also my Quigumon, if that's the sort of thing that floats your boat. And yeah, we will see you next time. Bye!